Hey there, good afternoon, and welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph, and I am the host of this show, a show that is dedicated to progressive rock, hard rock, heavy metal, and other forms of rock music. So today is the end of the month album hauls. Basically, this is what I've bought, collected, been given to, or acquired in some way, not illegally, this month in the way of albums. I didn't inquire. Next time I do it, I will talk about the books too. I did collect a couple of books over the last couple months, but that was in the past. I still haven't gotten around to reading any of these things because I am so damn busy, but I will get to them. I have a reading regiment as well, which wouldn't surprise me. People have a playlist. I have a reading list. I usually have anywhere between 10 and 15 books going at the same time. My girlfriend really has a really hard time identifying or understanding that she's a avid reader, but she reads 2 books at a time, one nonfiction and one fiction. And when she reads, she'll read that book in a 2-week period. If it's a big nonfiction book, it might take 2 or 3 weeks to read, but once she's done them, she starts another book. If that's the way she is, like clockwork. I actually envy her that way because she's able to really get into depth with stuff. I tend not to be that way with books. I tend to read like 15 books at a time. Depending on what I feel like that night, I may have as many as, I think I have about 10 novels going and maybe 5 non-fiction books going. But so I'm the same way with books that I am with CDs, but maybe more so with books than CDs. I mean, that might be hard to believe. But that's for a different channel if ever that comes this way. And I even have a huge hobby, which is my baseball setup, or my Stratomatic, which I love as well. And I do a lot of that. So I'm one of those people that's always doing something. Too many things, probably. I always overextend myself. So anyways, we're here to talk about the album hauls for this month, what we collected this month on vinyl. I was going to say vinyl, but it's actually on CDs. So I've broken them into categories here. I've got progressive stuff, I've got hard rock, heavy metal stuff, I've got pop rock stuff, I've got 60s rock stuff, and I've got a couple of albums that don't really fit into any of those categories. So we'll start with those ones first. So I got 2. This one yesterday, and probably doesn't even belong on this channel, but I'm going to give it its due anyways. There it is, Olivia Newton-John. I got this album, I seen it, I thought I've always wanted to own something by her, and I've never have for whatever reason. I just never did. And this one looked like a perfect choice. So you take out the book. It comes with a little unfolding book about all of her stuff. Pretty neat, interesting stuff to read, which I will read when I listen to the album for the first time. So this album is called Back to the Basics, and it's in this basically essential collection of Olivia Newton-John hits. I'll just tell you a little bit about the album. If I can get this opening in, put this back in. So, here we go. So it's got like about 17 songs on here. And I'll be honest, there's only a few on here I know. Physical, Magic, Hopelessly Devoted to You, a few of these. I don't really like her music. I can say that honestly. I don't really like the music that she's chosen for her genre, but she has such a beautiful voice. I really think that she is one of the best vocal voices out there now and forever. The fact that she's also very beautiful doesn't really hurt her cause either. So always like this woman. There's just a real genuine like of her. She's Australian, For those of you who never realized that, I can't imagine you didn't. But anyways, just such a great individual. So that's the first album on the list. Then we have this album, which I have showed on a few of my videos already. It's Steve Howe and Paul Suten. I do not know anything about this album, but it's got Steve Howe's name on it, so I'll probably like the guitar if nothing else. So those are the two albums that don't really fit into the rock category or any of these other categories. So we talk about a couple of albums from the 60s I purchased. This one, I've grown. I started out with these guys very long time ago, but basically just the radio stuff, and there was one greatest hits collection that came out that encompassed all of that. But I decided that I'm going to move into their stuff. It's very folky, very poppy, very 60s sounding music. Yes, we're talking about Simon and Garfunkel, and this is the Sounds of Silence album. I've already listened through it once. I just like it. I just like them. There's just something about their harmonies and the folky music that they sing that I like a lot. Next up is this album, whose cover has gone astray. This is the Beatles' Abbey Road. For many years, this was my favorite Beatles album. I don't know if it still is. I don't have the entire collection yet. When I do, then I'll make a ranking video of them. But it's got so many good classics on it. Come Together, Maxwell's Silver Hammer. Here Comes the Sun, which may be my favorite Beatles track. Could possibly be. It's up there anyways. And it just has some really good stuff on it. And it's their last album. Unfortunately, they came to an end. 17 tracks on it. Great album. So next up, we're going to do these, the more kind of rock, pop rock, a little bit of both. This one second, I just want to get this stupid sticker off here. I really don't like stickers on stuff, so I didn't notice that I'd left it on there. Anyways, Genesis self-titled album. Sorry, I'm getting some glare here. I'll try to get it so it's not. Many of you are going to be familiar with this album. It comes in the 80s. It's one of the highlight albums of the 80s for them. Poppy mostly, maybe a little progressive stuff here. Mama's on this album, which is good. Illegal Alien, Home from the Sea, some good stuff. I haven't even taken it out of the packaging yet. I've never owned this album, but of course, many of the tracks are familiar to me from their concerts and from the radio and stuff like that. But it's one of the ones I needed for my collection, right? Genesis, self-titled. Then I got two from this band, which I was happy to get because I've had an initial inbreed with their initial good reaction with their first album I have, which is the Twilight Night, and so I got this one, Tea Party, and this is called, I keep taking my glasses off because I can't see the screen, Transmission. Looks like a pretty decent album from '97, so it's a few years after the last one. And then you have this one, the Tea Party, which it has a really neat kind of cover to it. And this album came out in '93, so right around the same time as the album that I've been listening to. I have one other of their albums, so I have 4 of their discs now. And I think I've listened to this one. I'm pretty sure I've listened to this one already. I really like the cover and the album altogether. See what's inside. Yeah, it's just a booklet. It's nothing spectacular. Anyways, I like the album cover too. Is really neat. So, yeah, we'll be listening to this for sure. This is a band that I have high expectations for. At least I think they'll be decent, if nothing else. Now we'll go to the more rocky stuff that's harder. Maybe some metal stuff here too. This album I did last week on my live Friday Night Live experience. It's only got 8 tracks. You can see up close there. I'm a Wild Party Animal. I guess no, it Doesn't say animal there. I just put that in. It was some kind of psychedelic look to the album almost, right? And it's Kim Mitchell, so it's pretty solid. And his guitar, he shows his guitar off quite a bit on that album. It's quite good. Okay, here's another one who, for some reason, I got one tag off of it, but there was two of them. I forgot about the second one. So just bear with me 1 second, because I do not like tags. There, that's another one gone. So I got this one as part of a sale. There was 2-for-1 sale. The first one was I picked out, so I had to find one to match it, and I found this. I was happy to find this. So the first one was the Genesis album that you see. This one is The Last in Line, second studio album from Ronnie James Dio. Oh, excuse me, I'm having a... Of course, I had my water for the entire first video I did today, and I didn't use it, and so I didn't bring it in here, and now I need it. There you go. Anyways, Last in Line, pretty solid album. I haven't opened it yet, still in the packaging, just like the Genesis one, but I will. Yeah, so some good tracks. I've actually owned this before on vinyl in the day. I had 2 Ronnie James Dio on vinyl, the Holy Diver and this one. This was a pretty solid album. I don't think it's as good as Holy Diver, but it's not a bad album at all, so I'll be listening to that as well. This one I've listened to twice already since I got it. I had it in vinyl. It was the first one from this group I ever owned, and I loved it then. I still love it now. It's maybe not my favorite of theirs anymore. Actually isn't, according to the ranking I just did on it. But we're talking about Led Zeppelin's In Through the Outdoor. Some really great tracks on this stuff. Some nice sound to the music on this too. But you could see already that they were starting to move towards being a bit more commercial. A lot of bands were in the 80s when John Bonham passed. And so they never did develop beyond this. This is the last album, really. In Coda, I guess. But Coda is more a collection than an album, really. So there you go. In Through the Outdoor, Led Zeppelin. Then this one, which I've listened to twice as well. This is such a good album. The Sweet. Yeah, The Sweet. This is Desolation Boulevard. They are such a great band, I think. Yeah, they had some strange elements about them, but the music wasn't one of them. I mean, other than the hits, Fox on the Run and Ballroom Blitz, which mostly everybody's going to know, there are some really heavy stuff on this album. Solid album from top to bottom. I've listened to it twice already. I really like it. Can't wait to put it in my playlist. I've had to restrain myself from just keep playing it. You know, because I got so many other albums I have to listen to, and I go to the Hall stuff for the month to try to listen to a few of them, and I keep wanting to grab this one, but I've already listened to it a couple times. So, okay, so next up is my collection of progressive stuff. I've got 10 of them. So let's start out with this one, and I'm going to give these 3 at the same time. I got these from Laser's Edge, which is Ken Goldham's site. For those of you who don't know who he is usually on the Prog seat on Sea of Tranquility's Tuesday night episode. And I bought these 3 albums from him. They're all in great condition, brand new albums. And the reason I went to him is because I have a record store that I like to go to and patronize them and keep them in business and stuff like that. But they often don't get a lot of imports and stuff that wasn't really that big over here. They don't get a lot of that. They get some of it, but not a lot of it. But he has a lot of stuff that they don't have, so that's why I went to him. And it was as it is when you're ordering online, it's a little more expensive, but it's not too bad from him. He prices the albums fairly nicely so that even though you're paying for the delivery charge and that, they kind of equal out. So, you know, I would expect to pay probably $10 an album here or more, especially with this one and this one here. I would probably expect to pay maybe 10, and these are all brand new too. So if I was to go to the video store I go to and buy these, you're going to looking at probably between $15 and $30 for these 3 albums each. So you might pay, you might be going to pay $60 to $78 for these 3 albums, and I got from him for about $55. So that's about reasonable. That's a reasonable point, and so I will do more business with them. Not a lot, because I can't really afford that kind of investment, but 3 albums is good. So we'll start out with this one, which some of you will recognize as being the first album that I did on my Ben's Album Challenge, Journey's debut album. I said I would get it, and I got it. And actually, having the album in your hand is a little bit different than when you see it online. There's things in here I didn't notice before, like these guys on the back here. I didn't notice that. And this hasn't even been opened yet, so I can't show you the inside. It's still in its... But they just came this week, the 3 of them. This is, yeah, got some good tracks. 7 tracks on it. This is, like I said, Journey's debut. If Journey had stayed like this, it would never have got to the level that they got to. But nevertheless, I love that album. Next up is this album. For some of you, this will be something new that you've never seen. This is Jade Warrior, The Last Autumn's Dream. I've known about this band for a while now. I started doing research trying to find obscure stuff online that might be something I would be interested in, and I found this particular album too, not just any, because they have 3 studio albums, this group. It's got a nice little book in it. This art is really good. Like, I don't know if any of you can see this, but some really intricate detail on this art. Fantastic album, and the same with the backside, really good. Like, look at the detail. Isn't that fantastic? And then of course it has more of the same. It gives you all the lyrics and the band, who's in the band. You know, there's like 4 guys in the band, but one guy's brother also plays on a track on this album as well. So I've listened to this entirety once, because I was curious as to what it was like. I couldn't wait to get out of the package and listen to it, because I wanted to hear what I was going to be getting here. Good. The disc is nice too. It's got a lot of intricate art from the back cover on it as well. A nice package that it came in. Jade Warrior, and in case I didn't repeat it, Last Autumn's Dream. It's their 3rd album. I liked what I heard. This is kind of a mix of a little bit of folky classical stuff here, but some intricate workings of the instrumentation on the album. Yeah, they kind of they don't really remind me of anybody in particular. Their instrumentation, the way they do their instrumentation, is a kind of reminiscent of Gentle Giant, but nothing really like them. But anyways, I've only listened to it once, so it came out in 73 or 72, I believe. Let me see. It does not say. I thought it said it on the back. It shows this year, but that's when it was issued to me. I think it's, don't correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they did 2 albums in 71, and then this one came out in 73. So I got this one first because it looked like the best of the 3. Usually by the 3rd album, the bands are really starting to gel really well, so I thought I'd go for the 3rd album first. And then I got this one also. That one and the Journey one and this one all came from Laser's Edge. And they were quick on the delivery too, fairly quick. So this is IQ's Dark Matter. Yes, IQ, another band from Ben's Album Challenge. I tried to actually get the same album that he gave me for the challenge because I liked it so much, but he didn't have any in stock at this point, so I got this one, and I know he will get them again because he's already stated on the show that of the neo-progressive rock bands that came out in the early 80s from Britain, this is currently the band he likes the most. And I can understand that because I just did an album for my series on one of their albums from the 80s, their debut album, and it's just so good, man. They're just so good. I thank Ben a lot for introducing me to. I may have discovered them at some point, but I hadn't up until he brought them up. I had no idea they existed. I knew about Marillion and Palace and Pendragon and some of those other bands, but I didn't know anything about these guys. So IQ Dark Matter. Oh, I should take it open up, just show you a little bit, because I have listened. No, I actually haven't. I just taken it. I've taken it out and looked at it. It's still in its packaging. No, it isn't. So it comes with a cover, a sleeve to slide it into. You've got this little booklet which it gives you a list of all of their albums, and then this list here of all kinds of stuff related. It comes with the album, and then you have the indoor. These guys are so good. Yeah, I can visualize myself. I liked Marillion's first couple of albums, Strip for Jester's Tear and Christ, I'm drawing a blank on the other one, but at any rate, I like the first two Marillion albums, but I can see these guys taking it a notch higher. So, yeah, some really, really interesting kind of pictures in the thing. There's another shot of the cover, right? And it gives you the list of all the players too. There's 5 guys in this group. And this particular album, which came out in 2008, this is one of their newer albums. So my journey with IQ continues. This is to be my first album on my own. I couldn't get any of their stuff at my record store that I go to, which is, they're pretty good. Like this, we're not talking like Sunrise Records here, where they only have the stuff that everybody has, or even The Beat Goes On, which sometimes gets used albums that are useful, but a lot of times they just get the same stuff that everybody has too. Or even some of the thrift shops I go to, you don't ever see stuff like this. And even so, this record store that I normally go to has like a lot of really good used stuff, a lot of really good stuff. Like I can usually go there and spend way too much, so I limit my budget. But I can't get this from him because he says it's an import, hard to get, hard to sell. So, and nobody knows who they are. So, anyways, I got it. I'm happy with that. So then the other 2 progressive albums I got from the regular store that I go to. This one here was in great condition. It's a used version of the album, but I now have a bunch of their stuff, and this is Power and Possession by Eloy, a band I like quite a bit. The thing I like about Eloy a lot is that they're very methodical. Their music, yeah, from album to album, there's not a great deal of change. So if you like a certain style, and this band, you like their style, you will be happy with most of their albums, because they're a little bit different, but mostly they're the same, and they're very methodical, and they have a lot of keyboard in their music. They got a little bit of a Pink Floyd sound to some of their music as well. The guitar is great. Vocalist is vocalist. I'm not saying any more about it. So anyways, I got another Eloy. I really like Eloy. I have a new one going to be going in my playlist soon. This one will go on the shelf until there's an opportunity to put it in the playlist as well. So the next one is the first of this group's albums. This particular album came out in 2008. So, and I enjoyed this quite a bit. It's quite a bit acoustic. It surprised me, but with some really good sounds to it. I liked it immediately after listening to it. It's Porcupine Trees, Light Bulb, Sun. Yeah, good album. A little bit longer than music that I usually like to listen to. I don't know how long this album is, but I'm pretty sure it's longer than I usually listen to. But just some really great tracks on here. I've listened to the entirety once. It's a group I've been looking forward to get into. This group and Spock's Beard, Transatlantic, Dream Theater, those bands got a little bit. I got more Dream Theater than the rest of it. Dream Theater doesn't. I haven't really warmed up to them yet, and maybe their albums are a little bit long and a little bit heavier than I like my progressive rock, but because they're more of a metal progressive rock band. But this one falls into the range that I really like. So this album will definitely go on the waiting list to go into my playlist. No doubt about it. It's the best album of all the ones I've listed so far as my enjoyment goes. So now we get to the treasure that I was ecstatic to get, but for some dumb reason, every once in a while I get a brain cramp. You know, somebody had brought in their entire collection, mint condition, of this group, and they had sold them to them, and they put them all for like $12 a shot, and I just couldn't believe it. And there was like 7 of them, but for some reason I only took 5. I do not have a clue why I didn't take the other 2. Just brain cramp. Anyways, King Crimson. This is the Red album, I believe. No, this is Discipline. You'll see this album again in my series because it's one of the ones I chose for my series. And look at it's like really good condition. It's all of them are like this. They're in packaging. They're not in cassettes, which is nice. And they all come with books too. Every single one of them has a book. In this case, this isn't the book. This is the disc. It comes with a little disc holder that goes into the disc holder, which is weird, but. So Discipline, and then here's the book. Here's a book very similar to the first 2 that I have, In the Court of the Crimson King and In the Wake of Poseidon. They both have the same type of books. It's just a little bit of history about the band and where it's going on each of them. Every one of them has one. $12 each. Like to me that's a score. Because I bought the first 2. I had to buy them brand new because I didn't have anything used, and so I had to pay like $22, $24. So I was really happy to get all these for what I got them for. And believe me, if I go back tomorrow and the other 2 are still there, they'll be coming home with me. I'm not dumb enough to do that twice. Anyways, again, another package thing with the CD in it. This is Lizards, I think. Yeah, this is Lizards. I've listened to this. The only one of the ones I've listened to its entirety. This is a very different album. You know, they used to say, how do you view them? Well, I view the Police as very commercial. I view Rush as slightly outside the commercial realm. Yes, a little bit further out maybe than Pink Floyd is out there. Gentle Giant's out beyond them, and then King Crimson's out beyond Pink Floyd, and then this is like way out there. It's a way out there album, but it sounds, it's going to take a little bit of listening to get used to. And again, it comes with the book too, same book as all of them do. And another nice packaging. Opens up. You got all your lyrics here. Really nice setup on this. Same. Next one up, King Crimson, Red. Same thing, same deal. Nice cover to hold the CD in. Another fantastic book in the inside. This is when there's just Wet and Bruford and Fripp, for those of you who are not familiar with King Crimson. And I'm not overly familiar. I have like some familiarity now with their first 2 albums, and Blizzard will be next on the list, and then this will be up at some point as well, I guess. Discipline I will get a listen to this week because it's probably going to go into my series very soon. Here we go. This is Larks, Tongues, and Aspic. Of course, this is not one of their best albums. People keep telling me it's one of their best. It's got that little thing that you see them all wearing all the time on stage. And of course, again, it has the book. And inside it has another booklet on Larks, Tongues, and Aspens. And this is from the concerts that I was looking at era, where you have like Robert Fripp, John Wetton, Dave, what was his name? Dave, oh, I'm drawing a blank. Bill Bruford. And the one guy who only appeared in one of the songs, the other drummer, keyboardist, whose name I can't remember. I'm still learning, so beg to be different with me. I had one guy call me out because he's not going to listen to a Rush fan who can't remember the name of one of their albums. Yeah, well, maybe he's still young and hasn't realized that things don't stay in your head when you're older. Anyways, I'm okay with it. I can live with it. And then the last one, this is Thrack. Another kind of different cover. That's one thing about King Crimson I like. Yes, their music is so different from album to album, but yet it's so good. You know, you wonder how you can keep fans that way, but another nice booklet here. Robert Fripp, Adrian Belew, Trey, can't see his name without my glasses, Tony Levin, of course, Bill Bruford, and Mazzolosco. Sorry, might as well put my stuff on. Okay, let's do this right. Robert Fripp, Adrian Belew, Tony Levin, Bill Bruford, Pat Mastelotto, and Trey Gunn. Yeah, really, this looks like it's going to be pretty good. This is one of their more recent albums too, I believe, without knowing the date. I don't see it anywhere here. Again, it comes with the, they all have it, so I'm assuming the other two that I didn't take, which I'm still mind-boggled why I didn't, but sometimes this one's from 2002, by the way. It's a much newer album than a lot of their other stuff. Anyways, there you have it. Those are all of the stuff that I've collected this month that's new to my collection. And the only problem with these things I have is they do not fit in my black. They don't go in here. They won't fit. They're all too big. So I'm gonna have to figure out. Probably that's what I got this one for, because it'll hold them. Not perfectly, but it holds them. It's got my Nazareth album here that I had to put here for the same reason. For some reason, they make them a little bit different now so that they don't quite fit anywhere. But it's okay. Still great. So there you go. There you have. That's what I got this month. A lot of interesting stuff. I think a lot of this stuff will be adding to my channel over the next 2 or 3 months as they get into it, and much of it I've already listened to because I enjoy it so much. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode, so please like, subscribe, it's much appreciated, and we'll be back next month with another haul. I don't think it's going to be as large as this one because usually I've been in the winter time I go every second month to the I don't normally go every month because every week because of the weather, you know, and I pretty much don't drive car, so I am a bike transit type of guy. Yeah, I guess I could get a car, but I don't really like driving in this area, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, so again, I hope you like and subscribe. It's much appreciated, and we'll be back next month on album hauls with another collection of stuff to share with you. So have a good night. Bye.